So who would have thought it, man? It's been a few months, Wyatt, but we're back to using our cameras. So now you can see us.
Yeah.
As you can see here, this is the brand new bed. I didn't tell anybody about this, except Wyatt. But this is the brand new full-size single mattress. Well, this is a full-size mattress. So now I have a lot more room.
I know what I'm...
What?
Yep. Well, now I know what I'm stealing.
Well, good luck trying to get up here. But no, on a serious note, welcome to episode 27 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. As always, Elijah Leonard with you as the host, and alongside me, to the left of the screen, is Wyatt Walker.
What's up, y'all?
And I want to say, yes, we are back to recording. Back to recording with our face cams. Because I wanted to try this. I wanted to see if I could do it. Because I mentioned in a couple previous videos, I think I mentioned this in the grid video that just recently came out today. Oh, well, yesterday rather, the time that this drops. That my dad got most of the dust out of this computer, because that's what this computer was mainly bogged up with, was dust. He had, in efforts to try to make sure that there was no more dust, not more dust that would get into the computer, he put a shirt in front of it, so that way he could make sure that there was no dust flowing in, because the computer, it needs to take in fresh air in order to run, and so you need to get that hot air out. So there's a fan that is blowing all that hot air out. And therefore, it has made all the difference. It has gotten so much better. And it's not even like razor hot, like compared to previous recordings that we would do of this with cameras on and with Elgato running. And so far, it is so much better to be back into this. And I just wanted to try it out to see where we would be at. But so far, I mean, even though it's just the start, so far so good. Alright, Wyatt. It's time to, let's go ahead and review Loudon, actually. Oh boy, Loudon. Loudon, New Hampshire. So many things. You probably may have so many words to describe the weekend.
I have actually I finally was able to watch, I was able to watch both the Xfinity and the Cup race, thankfully. And it's actually, Loudon's really not the race that gets have really excitement or just a lot of passes, have a lot of I don't know how to explain. I guess the best way to explain it, it's it's not one of the best races to watch from past, because it's always boring, not really much passes, all that, yada yada yada. This race was actually pretty interesting for both series.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's some pretty action-packed, especially the Cup Series.
Oh yeah, the Cup Series, man. Oh my gosh, I think a lot of people were buzzing a lot more about the Cup race than they were Xfinity, because most notably about a couple things. First of all, what happened early in the race when it was raining and they still let him go. And every driver complained about it. Every fan, I bet, was complaining about it. And then the second thing was the shock value Eric Almirola win. Honestly, to me, those are the two things I think people are buzzing about.
I think mainly about the Eric Almirola winning one, to be honest with you, because that was a shock to everyone. Even for me, I'm like, we know how we knew Eric Almirola was below the cutoff, and the way Stuart Haas was running, we didn't think they were going to win.
Yeah.
And Harvick still has not won, and that's saying something. And yet Eric Almirola, his teammate, who was 27th in the points, was able to get a win before Harvick.
And also to add on, he didn't get as good of a start to the season as Harvick did. He probably got a worse start. But man, though, like,
So,
I don't know. It's still nuts to me of how Eric Almirola, of all the people, like, one of the last people that you'd expect to win. I mean, like, and not to say that he can't win, because we all know he can. He's shown it before.
season to where he should. Sorry to interrupt you, but like the best season where he could have gotten a lot of wins was
Exactly.
2018, his first year at Stewart-Haas.
Exactly.
He
But
led so many laps and
yeah,
just
I think that year he led more laps than he ever did. Ever.
the
But
only
this
good thing
year,
is he did
oh,
win.
yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm not trying to interrupt you.
No,
You know me. I just have
it's
more points.
it's good. But no, like, to me, it's more shocking that Eric Almirola, who has had himself somewhat of a dismal kind of start to the year and kind of had that roller coaster type of year, gets a win before Harvick, who had come off of arguably one of his best seasons of his entire career. 9 wins, almost winning half of the first half of a single season. But way before Harvick, and Harvick still hasn't won. I think this is the longest I've ever seen Kevin Harvick go without a win.
Actually, he did go a year without. He did
Well,
go a
actually,
year winless.
to rephrase. Now let's bring. Actually, no, he went 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah,
Two
yeah, yeah,
seasons.
yeah.
2 seasons, I think he went without a win. But no, I think it's since then. This is the longest he's gone without a win.
Since he's gone to Stewart-Haas.
Yes. But man, that's still kind of crazy to me.
It is, and just it's definitely shook up the points. And I want to go back to like the beginning of the race here for a minute. What was NASCAR thinking? They made so many mistakes on the rain this year. The first one with like a major mistake was Coda.
Yeah.
Downpour, raining hard. Never call the red just for it to calm down at least.
They didn't call red until like it got to a point where NASCAR realized, oh, wait, this is unsafe. We need to throw the red and bring everybody down. And they should have just called it there. If it was light drizzles, like small, like mild, light drizzling rain showers, okay, fine, let them race. But just keep a good moderation of like what kind of track conditions that the drivers are dealing with. I feel like everybody in Xfinity does a really good job with that. You know, like the Xfinity series. I mean, there's been a couple. What's that?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but Xfinity Series has more experience in like road course rains than the Cup Series does.
Absolutely. Because and here's another thing, a good handful of drivers that have experience racing in the rain have come from the Xfinity Series where they have raced in the rain before. A lot of some of the older drivers. Yeah, Ty Dillon, Chase Elliott, maybe you could probably throw Michael McDowell in there.
Chris Buescher. Yeah.
Buescher's
I don't know
another one.
about McDowell. Chris Buescher's one. I would not Briscoe or Cindric. It has a ring for them, yeah, on there. But there's a bunch of good drivers you could throw in there. On top of my head, I can't really think of it. Cole Custer, I think, could be one of them.
Yeah.
I think Cole Custer's one. I would say Reddick and Bell maybe one as well. Well, I don't know about those two.
Yeah, you might be able to get away with Bell.
I'd say Reddick and Bell are 50-50 to me.
Actually, wait, because if you remember 2018 in Watkins Glen, it rained, and they used the rain tires.
Okay, yeah.
So you could throw Reddick onto that list. You could throw Bell in there. AJ Allmendinger, I mean, another one. He's from the Xfinity Series, like ultimate experience on road courses, whether it be dry or rain. So, You know, I mean, I feel like a lot of the complaints, I mean, from that particular time were just from drivers who have never raced in the rain before. Most notably, I think that was most vocal about his comments were Kevin Harvick, because the thing is with Harvick, he is the oldest currently the oldest driver currently competing in NASCAR. I mean, amongst active drivers. The thing is that since he's basically that veteran that has been there the longest, so whatever he says and does, it influences a lot of younger drivers. That's just to me, because it's basically, now that Harvick is the oldest and the longest running driver, with the exception of Kurt Busch, who has one extra start on him. Those types of drivers are kind of the role models, and they set the example for how to conduct yourself on the racetrack, to how to conduct yourself in the garage areas, in drivers' meetings, so on. And whatever they say, I feel like it impacts a lot what other younger drivers say. That's just me. I think some people may agree with that, maybe not. I don't know.
Especially some of the younger drivers trying to come up in the Cup Series.
Absolutely. But yeah, Coda definitely was a mistake. Loudon, 100% was another one.
I don't know what they were thinking about Loudon, because like a bunch of drivers, even before dropped the green, they said it was raining, and it took out two drivers who could have competed for a win that race. It didn't take out didn't take out Truex, but his damage was not enough to make him running for a winning car. Right. But Kyle Busch, and I'm not even going to blame Kyle Busch for bumping the pace car, giving that damage. I'm glad they didn't give him a penalty for that. I'm actually glad. He didn't need a penalty for that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
he didn't need a penalty. What he did was right. He showed NASCAR his displeasure about the rain.
Yeah. And I feel like that Kyle is another outspoken driver. If there's something that he doesn't like, he'll let you know, whether it be with his mouth or with his car. So
definitely with his car, because he showed that, definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean, he showed that. I mean, like with the bumps on the pace car, just because like I feel like a lot of drivers, I mean, even a lot of drivers on the radio were just probably livid that NASCAR just made him start the race under green and under rain conditions where the track is completely wet enough to where slicks cannot handle being on the racetrack, you know, because slicks are just that, slicks. But all right, Wyatt. Now let's move on to the grading portion of this show. And oh boy, we may not have as good of a grades as we would usually give other weekends, but because of what happened. But we'll see what Wyatt says. So Wyatt, if you could give this race weekend a grade from an A to an F, what would it be and why?
I'm actually, besides the rain incident, I'm actually giving this a really positive grade, because the action throughout the Cup Series, at least, was amazing. It was amazing. The racing was awesome all through. Surprise win by Eric Almirola, who's locked himself in, which now bumped the RCR team, or at least one of them, down below. Now we have an RCR battle for the final spot.
Yeah.
We got, in the Xfinity Series, yes, we knew Christopher Bell was going to win, but we still had some epic battles between their two. So I'm going to give this just a regular A. I would have given this an A+, but the rain for the Cup Series, that's what brought it down.
Yeah.
but I'm going to give this a good A grade because it's New Hampshire. None of us really thought it was going to be the best, like the most energetic, most interesting race. It proved me wrong.
Yeah. I would definitely say so too. I mean, like, because like the action itself, I feel like was good. I feel like it was good. I feel like it delivered. The only downside to that, though, obviously, was just the rain at the beginning of the race. That was completely unnecessary on NASCAR's part to just send them out there on the rain, knowing what the consequences were going to be when you did it. So, I would say, for my grade, I might go a little lower. I might give it a B+. I'm doing it just because of the rain. That was just completely unnecessary. But alrighty, folks, when we come back, we are going to go into some top stories. We're not going to be looking ahead to Watkins Glen because that's a little ways from now. Because NASCAR has a 2-week vacation before we come back onto the schedule. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back. Dogs? No. Anyways, welcome back to episode 27 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. As always, Elijah Leonard alongside Wyatt Walker, and I just realized something, Wyatt. We're both wearing
What?
Kurt Busch merchandise.
Yes, we are.
I got the hat. He's got the shirt, the crew shirt. It's not like that official kind of crew shirt. It's just like a regular T-shirt, right?
It's like the one that's like his fire suit.
Oh yeah, because I got the same type of one with Jeff Gordon, with his 3M car.
And I got one with Daniel Suarez in the 41 and Martin Truex Jr. in the when he was in the 19.
Well, how about that?
But
alrighty,
I got 3 of these after went to the Kentucky race back in 19.
How about that? All right, Wyatt. Silly season is running strong this year for 2022. Let's talk about some big storylines. More particularly, this is happening with the Ford teams. We've got some Ford teams that are going to be bringing in some silly season for next year. The plan was for Austin Cindric to come up to Cup. You remember that plan that they had?
Yes.
They were going to have him do some limited Cup starts this year, and then he would go over to Wood Brothers. Well, that recently has since then changed. Austin Cindric is coming up to the Cup Series, but since these rumors had popped up about Keselowski going over to Roush to take over the 6 as a co-owner driver, and since we figured out that sources have confirmed that this is going to happen, it is now confirmed that Austin Cindric will be going over to the 2 car in 2022. And
there's also this.
I'm also leading into it.
I know.
You just wanted to beat me to the punch.
Yes, I want to beat you to that. Want to beat you to that part.
But it's also confirmed that Harrison Burton, the driver who we knew was going to go up to Cup at some point, we just didn't know for who, is gonna be driving for the Wood Brothers next year, which now confirms DiBenedetto is out.
Is out.
He is a free agent as of right now. Well, not right now, but after this year, he will be a free agent. So now his future is in serious jeopardy if he wants to stay in the Cup Series. So, my question is to you, Wyatt. What do you think Matt DiBenedetto has to do between now and the end of the year to find a ride that will at least try to take him in? And if so, if he's able to do this, who do you see Matt DiBenedetto with in the Cup Series next year?
Well, I want to say this first off. We knew Cindric was going to go to the 2, but I think everyone was really hoping that Matt DiBenedetto was still going to stay in the 21 for at least one more year. At least trying to make something happen, but I'm not. I don't feel like Burton's ready yet, but it's not my place to say anything. My place to say who should be in, who should be out. So, good job for Harrison. I'll keep my eye on you, but just really wish Matt DiBenedetto was still in that spot. Anyways, what Matt DiBenedetto has to do to keep a ride, I think he's got to win. He's got to somehow pull off a win somewhere. And he's been so close so many times.
A lot.
He just needs to get it done.
I mean, yeah. That's the Sean!
Oh! Whoa! Wait a minute!
I thought you had work today.
Man, look at this weird mofo who finally showed back up.
I've been busy the past several weeks. You won't believe how busy I've been.
Yay, I can have my torment buddy. I mean, what?
Wow.
Welcome back to the show, Mr. Sean Ard.
It's great to be back.
Oh, yeah. But back to what I was saying, and we'll get his opinion here in a second. I think Matt DiBenedetto has to win. He's got to win a race somehow. He's going to get in, and he could go to a bunch of places, but we have to figure about charters and stuff. There's not a lot of places that are open. With Brad Keselowski being officially going to Roush, I know we'll talk about that here in a second, but just with that, we still got 2 drivers, Newman and Matt DiBenedetto, with different places, but a whole lot of teams are coming up. The open teams so far, we're still trying to figure out, are like 2311 and Trackhouse. I think are the 2 main ones. But I think those spots are going to be filled up by the two Ganassi guys. So it's going to be hard to figure out where they go. I think DiBenedetto, in my opinion, should downgrade to the 22 in the Xfinity Series, if you want my personal opinion, just to try to. I know it's not the best, but just what other ride?
It is a good ride, though. It's a good ride. It's a good ride.
It's a good ride.
Remember, there have been no announcements as to who would be the new driver to the 22 car as of right now. So Matty D still got a chance to land a really good ride.
Since you're here, Sean, we can get your opinion. What do you think?
Oh, well, for Matt DiBenedetto, I would hope he would be able to find another ride either in the Cup Series or downgrade to the Xfinity Series, because I think for Matt DiBenedetto, he's done well in the Cup Series. He hasn't got that breakthrough win, but if he doesn't get a ride there, Xfinity would be the right place.
What do you think about Cindric going to the 2 and Harrison Burton going to the 21?
Well, I think we all kind of figured out Cindric was going to come up the Cup the last year after he won the championship. We kind of all knew he was going to move up sooner rather than later. But for Burton, on the other hand, I I don't think were expecting him to move up, especially going to Wood Brothers.
Yeah.
So
Burton was kind of that oddball pick. He was the
Yeah,
last
exactly.
person. I don't think I ever had not Jeff Burton, no.
Harrison
Burton. Like, that was the very last person on my radar. Heck, he wasn't even on my radar at all to go up to the Cup Series, at least for another
Yeah,
year.
same. I agree,
'Cause-
because that was definitely me.
So now, I mean, that not only leaves a spot for the 22 car, which is now open after this year. The 20 car is open, and Matty could jump in that ride because if you go back to previous history, he has raced for Joe Gibbs before in Xfinity. That was a part of their.
I'll give
I
you
think it was
one
a part of
more.
their youth program. What's that?
I'll give you one more ride.
Hmm.
The 11 from Colleague Racing.
Oh yeah, that's right. That car is also open. I forgot about that.
That's open, and Colleague has been doing really well with season since we got Allmendinger back in the 16. No surprise, it's not announced, but I think Jeff Burton's still going to be back in the 10 for the next year. But who's going to be the last car in Colleague?
That is a really good question. I mean, because like, it's. I mean, Matty could go there. He could also go to Gibbs. But however, though, here's another issue with that. There's been some talks that Ty Gibbs could go to Xfinity, and he is the highest pick for the 20 next year.
Well,
if that
then
were to
that's-
be the case.
And I want to bring this up as well. I saw that Sheldon Creed wants to go with Xfinity Series Racing. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this. I think this is going to be my this is like a early prediction on silly season. I think Creed's going to go to Colleague. I think Sheldon Creed might go to Colleague. I think the Benedetto's going to go to the 22. And how about Ty Gibbs go to the 20?
Yeah. I'd
Yeah.
say that's pretty reasonable, for sure.
yeah, that would be a lot reasonable there.
But one more thing, and I think we're about to go up to that topic here in a few.
Roush
Right.
has confirmed those rumors themselves. Roush and Keselowski held a press conference confirming these rumors, even though we already knew it was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Which now, Keselowski goes to the 6 next year, which bumps Ryan Newman out. And there was an article that popped up, possibly Ryan Newman could go seek a part-time opportunity with Roush. And I'm going to ask you both, do you think that's possible for Ryan, or do you think he's just going to hang it up?
Well, I think Newman's one of the oldest guys. You mentioned like a couple of the oldest guys. You got Kurt Busch, you got Kevin Harvick, but don't forget about the other rookie of the 2002 season that was with the recent retired driver Jimmy Johnson. Ryan Newman. He's been there.
Right.
He's been there for a while too, and
Yeah.
he's been there for ups and downs. And this is most likely a big down for him right now. I think he's going to follow up in Jimmy Johnson's foot. I think he's going. I feel like I don't really see why he would do a part-time ride. I think he's just going to retire. Because even they might try to do part-time, but even I've listened to press conference a little bit. They were talking about the charter thing, and since it's too high, they can't afford to do a third car. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to do it even if it was for part-time.
Yeah.
So I think Newman's going to hang it up. I don't really see him going anywhere else. All the rides are most likely going to get filled up. He's not going to downgrade. There's no way Ryan Newman, that much experience, is going to downgrade. So I just think I think Ryan Newman's going to retire. I really think Ryan Newman's going to retire after this year. Sean?
I somehow just can't disagree on that. Wyatt made a lot of good points there. And again, Ryan Newman has had some good accomplishments. Like he has done really well. A Daytona 500 winner. He's done a lot of great stuff. He hasn't won a championship, but he still has a good career.
Yeah.
Back from what happened at the Daytona 500 last year.
Yeah, but before then, he was really good. So I think he is hitting the mark that was set for all the other drivers, and I think now this would be the right time to finally hang up the helmet, hang up all the stuff, and call it.
I would say so, because Newman at his tenure, I mean, he's already accomplished what I think he could accomplish. I mean, like as many poles as he won and as many races as he's won. I mean, I feel like he's definitely established his legacy as the Rocket Man. You know, because we know where he got that nickname from is from all the poles he's won, and from how fast he goes. So, I mean, as far as Ryan Newman going another year or two, I mean, with anybody else, I mean, with the way it's looking, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. With him going part-time with anybody else, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. As far as him downgrading to Xfinity or trucks, to the slightest there's a possibility, but I don't see him taking that at all. So, if anything, I feel like this could be the year where Newman just hangs it up. I mean, he's already been in the series long enough. I feel like he's done everything that I feel like he can do, and what else can you really do? You could try part-time, but then again, how far does that get you?
It won't get you far. And Newman has won with about every team he's been at except Roush.
Yeah.
If he could give Roush one more send-off, a win to send him off, I think that would be a good way to end his career.
End it off on a high note. That's really all you can do if this is it.
Exactly.
All right. So let's go talk about one of the teams that Ryan Newman won at, Stewart-Haas Racing. So we know Stewart-Haas has had themselves a terrible, terrible year this year. I mean, just with all the downward slope that they've been on. More particularly Eric Almirola, because we know Almirola has gotten the bad end of the spoon. But since recently he got his first win of the year, and also getting Stewart-Haas's first win of the year, this might be too early to ask, but do you think this could be a turning point for Stewart-Haas to get back to their winning ways?
I would be surprised if it was, but I'm still going to disagree on that, because Almirola somehow got that speed out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And Harvick, that was probably the best race for Stewart-Haas I've seen, because Harvick led laps. Eric Almirola somehow got that speed and won the race. He impressed me, but just even with that, I think that's the best race they're going to get this season. I really don't see him, with the races upcoming, I really don't see him doing good at road courses. Or Michigan, Michigan's one of Harvick's best tracks, but I think that's just going to be dominated by another driver we'll get to down the line. I think you guys can already figure out which one I'm going for. And Daytona's the only chance to get for playoffs. And just for the rest of the season, they just gotta get lucky, because Eric Almirola is not going to make it past that first. Unless he gets lucky, Almirola is not making it past the first round. So,
right.
I'm still having doubts for Stewart-Haas. If I have to be honest, I'm just having doubts. I really don't see Stewart-Haas doing as much well as they did this race, which surprised all of us. Sean?
I somehow agree. I don't see Stewart-Haas Racing just going on what they had last year with streaks of really, really good finishes, especially at the point of the season we're at now. What I could mostly think what they can still gather up is still a good couple of top 10, top 5 finishes, maybe a few wins here or there, but nothing compared to the dominance they've had the past several seasons.
Yeah, I would definitely agree to that. But alrighty. Before we go on a commercial break, which driver were you referring to?
So you need to win. Think about what I asked. Michigan, a winner who's been the most dominant winner this season, and who's won that 3 in a row?
Yeah.
You're talking about Harvick.
No, I'm not talking about Harvick.
What?
Another driver who's won it 3 times in a row. First win at that track.
Larson. It's
There you
Larson you're
go.
talking about.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think I know it's we're early stages, but I think Larson has the best chance to get another win at Michigan. So
Well, you still got a few weeks to think on that.
still got a few weeks, but that's most likely not going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Alrighty, so when we come back, we're going to be doing something completely different. I'll talk more about that once we come back. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back. Eat it up.
Yeah, it's that. Thankfully, it's not going to be in your video, but it's the new red, wine, blue from Sonic.
I heard that's.
And we're back, folks. We're not sponsored by Sonic.
Are you serious? Are you serious or joking?
Yeah, no.
It's Sean's fault. Sean's fault. He made me do it. Sean made me do it.
It's Elijah.
Really? No, I think it's Wyatt. He brought this on himself.
No, I still blame Sean.
It's Elijah.
It's a triangular effect of blame.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was about to mention that. About to mention that.
But our what? Okay, so there's one piece of news before we go on to what I'm going to explain here. There's one piece of news that we forgot to mention. It was this L1 penalty that teams number 9 and 48 have just been assessed to. So what this means is that Hendrick's number 9 team for defending series champion Chase Elliott and number 48 team of teammate Alex Bowman, they were both found in violation of section 20.6.1.e in the NASCAR rulebook, which covers engine assembly. The penalty report notes, when the long block is sealed, the engine must be used in the same vehicle number the next time it is used. So I guess the whatever engines that the teams are using, I wonder if they swapped engines or something. But the penalty is this. Competition officials have deducted 25 points from each team's total in each of the driver and team owner standings, and crew chiefs Alan Gustafson and Greg Ives were both fined $50,000 and issued a one-race suspension to Hendrick Motorsports executive and vice president and general manager Jeff Andrews and the organization's director of track engine support Scott Maxim for the next Cup event. Oh boy. So that's a hit in the championship.
Yeah, just I don't know what all happened there, but just like that's big because Hendricks has been on the ball this year. They have definitely been the top team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I much just hate to say that it was happened to Elliott and Bowman. It's not happened to the top Hendrick driver right now, which is Larson. But tough break for like the defending champion and Alex Bowman, who's having the best season so far. The best season. You're just.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
That beats me on what they're doing, but
I will be
I'm
right
hoping-
back.
well, I'm hoping something like this does not affect the rest of their season.
Mm,
But
yeah.
alrighty. So Wyatt knows what we're going to be doing when we get back, but here's some of the predictions that we're going to be doing. This special type of prediction that we're going to be doing. No, we're not previewing Watkins Glen. That is a little ways from now. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be determining and predicting who could get in on points and who would be bumped out of the chase via points. So we know, let's see. So we know Harvick still has yet to win. We know Tyler Reddick still has yet to win. We know, yeah, we only know about that much. Yeah. So I guess it's no, because we know Almer. All right, so let me see this: Larson, Truex, Busch, Hamlin still is yet to win. Yeah, this is completely wrong. I don't know why. Where everybody's sitting in the points is wrong. I mean, when it comes to playoff points. Yeah, that's wrong.
It should be
nice
off
job,
of,
NASCAR.com.
should be off of wins, though.
Yeah, it should either be off of wins or playoff points. But the NASCAR.com app is wrong on where they placed Hamlin. So I'm trying to figure out
What are we talking about?
where the playoffs.
Playoff standings.
Because whoever did the playoff standings on the NASCAR.com app, they did a terrible job. And it's not accurate. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it.
I got a more accurate, at least for the playoff drivers, I got a more accurate point system.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think I might have found one that may be accurate enough. So I got the one from NASCAR on NBC. So this is what they have. You obviously have our 13 winners: Larson, Truex, Bowman, Busch, the Busch brothers, Elliott, Blaney, Byron, Logano, Keselowski, Bell, McDowell, and now Almirola added onto that list. I think I might have said Almirola's name twice, but I don't know.
No, you didn't.
But the three drivers that are currently winless right now that look to be in pretty good shape in points. Denny Hamlin looks to me like if he can hold on to these good runs that he's having, I think he should be able to make it in on points. It depends on which race he's going to get locked in at. I mean, if he makes it in on points. Harvick is looking a little iffy here. He's 82 points above the cut line. Kevin Harvick, or not Kevin Harvick, yeah. There's two Kevin Harvicks, guys. Tyler Reddick is 5 points above the cutoff line. He is the most at risk here to Austin Dillon, his teammate, who is 5 below. Then you have Chris Buescher, who is 121 below, Matt DiBenedetto, 143 below, and Ross Chastain, 144 below. So,
that is correct at my end as well.
we have 4 races left. We have 4 races left in the regular season. We have 3 drivers. We have 3 drivers that, well, 3 spots rather, that you can make it in on points. One of which is more than in good shape to get locked in if he's able to hold on to keep. If he's able to continue to put on some good performances. We've got a driver who is kind of okay, but not really. And then we've got Reddick. You know, obviously 5 above. He is on the bubble and is the most at risk. So, with these final 4 races coming up, and once we get to Daytona, who do you see pointing their way in, and who do you see getting bumped out? Let's start with Sean Ard.
Okay. Well, we're going to start off at Hamlin there. Hamlin, who is right now, I believe, still the regular season points leader.
By 13 over Kyle Larson.
Yeah. He has a lot of points right now, and he's been really consistent. If he can still keep that amount of points while staying consistent, by the time we get to Daytona, he should lock in either before or during the race. That's only if we don't get any new winners between Watkins Glen and Daytona. Then next is Harvick. There's a couple of tracks in there that he could do well. Michigan's one. He's done decent at Daytona. It's Watkins Glen and Indy that are kind of iffy. I think he can probably point in, but it's going to be a stretch on that because we don't know if he can get in. Because if he has a couple of bad races in those 4 races, he could end up below.
And that can allow Austin Dillon to strike too if he don't mess up as well.
Yeah. And then Reddick, I don't see him pointing his way in. It just straight up on that. Because Reddick has had an up and down season, and it just really is unknown if he can be able to keep the points he has up until we get past Daytona.
Yeah.
So you're thinking Austin Dillon may point his way instead of his teammate?
He might, or we might have a surprise winner. Because there are still some drivers who have not won. Like, we had a surprise winner in Eric Almirola. Who knows who could surprise us?
Yeah. All right. So, as for the 4 drivers who are below the cut line, you got Dillon, Buescher, DiBenedetto, and Ross Chastain. In that group, who do you see pointing in, and who do you see still being below the cut line?
Dylan, I don't know. He's not good. I don't know if he's good or if he's decent or not that good on road courses. Michigan, not that well. And he's good on that. The Benedetto, though, he's done well on several tracks that we've been to this season. So he could be one of the two that can get up there.
Yeah.
Busher, the only track I would see him maybe getting a surprise to be able to get out there would be Daytona. And I don't know by then if it would be too late.
Yeah.
And yeah, who's the last one?
Ross Chastain.
Ross Chastain. That one's iffy. Because he's been up there in the midfield, but if he wants to get in, he needs to be able to pull off finishes like no other, getting like top 10s, top 5s, surprising us pretty well.
I'm going to give you 3 more drivers because they're like close around the little points session at like where Ross Chastain all that is.
Yeah.
What about Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Daniel Suarez? Because those 3, along with the Benedetto, Ross Chastain, and Chris Buescher, have all been like switching places during the playoff bubble below the cut line.
Yeah.
What about those 3?
Yeah. First off, just going off of what we've seen this season from Wallace and Suarez, they've been good. They've had some good finishes, but these 4 are really going to be tricky. Like, Wallace did okay at Daytona, back at the 500, but will he be able to kind of crawl up there? Same thing with Suarez. He's had a good couple races here and there, but he needs to be able to do well there. And then, what was the second one you said there?
Stenhouse.
The only way I would see Stenhouse is he pulls out another one of those surprise victories at Daytona.
So basically, summary is Daytona is obviously the wild card.
Yeah. Yeah. Daytona's wild card. That's all. That's where I mostly see either a surprise winner or somebody's gonna surprise us by getting in. That's it.
All right. How about you, Wyatt?
Well, you mentioned like Hamlin getting locked in at Michigan or like at Daytona, like before the race starts or during the race. He has enough points where I feel like when he was at 300 points before Eric Almirola won, I would say he would have gotten locked in past Watkins Glen. But since he's down at 200, I'm bringing that up a race. I think that's going to be. I think he's going to get locked in after the Indy Roval. With enough points as he has, he's either going to get locked in at Indy Roval or Michigan. At Daytona, he's going to be locked in already between those 2 races, between Indy Roval and Michigan. So between there, he'll be locked in by points. Kevin Harvick is a stretch because like there's some tracks. The only tracks like you mentioned he's good at are he's okay at Watkins Glen. I'd say there's 2 wild card tracks if you ask me. Daytona's one of them. But what about the Indy Roval?
Well, the Indy Road Course, we never seen Cup guys on them.
Except one Cup guy. And there's one Cup guy that has. Well, actually, if he's in this race, 2. If he's going to be in the race, there's 2 Cup guy, 3 if he's in there too. And the main driver, full-time, who might have more experience on it than anything, ironically, is a rookie.
Yes.
The irony is, like, the only person who has experience on that is a rookie.
Yep.
Chase, if there's any surprise winner besides Daytona, I don't see him winning it, but if he does, I'll be shocked. Chase Briscoe is the only person that has experience with the Indy Roval. No other driver has experience with that race but him.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Do I see him winning it and surprising us? No. But there's 2 wild card tracks. Think about it, because we don't know what's going to happen we don't know what's going to happen at the Indy Roval.
Nobody will really know what happens there.
So, and Harvick, I haven't really seen him be the best road course guy, so that's 2 tracks out. And
Yeah.
Michigan is one of his best tracks, but like I said before, I don't see him winning it. I see someone else winning it. Y'all know who it is. Daytona is the only other option if he's going to get it, and he he cannot DNF in any of the 4 races. He cannot DNF. He will be out if he DNFs. Austin Cindric, I'm sorry. Well, if he's in the race, he's a contender too in the Roval along with AJ Allmendinger, because all 3 has experience.
And the thing with Cindric and Allmendinger is that they've got nothing to lose, so they can go as hard as they want.
Exactly. So, if you want surprise winners, how about 2 that are not even full time in the Cup Series
That
trying to win that race?
that would be one embarrassing, and 2.
And
They just gotta hope that AJ Allmendinger wins that race, not 2 young rookies.
Yeah, because if a rookie wins, we're gonna have a last year and say, "Okay, here you go, Rookie of the Year."
He's already getting rookie of the year. What you talking about? He's already
By
gone
default.
to the point where he's gone rookie of the year. Exactly. He's already gotten it.
Ooh.
So it's automatically he got that already. There's no way Anthony Alfredo, who I think also has experience on that track, ironically too.
That's ironic. As I'll get out.
I don't see him pointing his way. I don't think he's going to get rookie of the year. There's no way by points. He's literally the last person on the list of the the points. He's literally dead last. Not dead last like there's some guys who are part-time before that, but you get what I mean. All the guys
Like the
eligible
top
for
30.
Cup Series. Exactly, thank you. He's 30th. He's literally 30th. He's
Man.
not getting rookie of the Briscoe's getting rookie of the year either way. There's no doubt.
Like,
Unless he makes a
it's by
surprise.
default.
They're probably going to call. They're going to call it.
Unless if Alfredo pulls off this spectacular surprise win at the Indy Road Course, and then all of a sudden a Daytona, which that would be most likely Daytona, then I don't see him either pointing his way in, winning to get in, or getting Rookie of the Year at all. I don't see it.
Exactly.
With Alfredo. I see it more with Briscoe than Alfredo.
Exactly. And that brings me to my point. We keep saying Daytona is the wild card. Indy Roval is more of a wild card than Daytona.
Well,
Because we know who's good at Daytona, who's not. Especially even though it's a surprise winners there, we know who's good or not. We don't know about the Indy Roval.
the road.
And
Well, here's the thing: we only seen the Xfinity Series cars do the road course.
we have and we do have a couple of Xfinity drivers that are currently in Cup Series, and there is no Leach that I remember was in that race. There was no Cup Leach in that race.
There was none at all.
So everyone's going to have an equal playing field. Maybe Briscoe's going to be a little higher, along with Alfredo. So, and we going back to all the guys. I've never seen Austin Dillon or Tyler Reddick be the best road course guys. The only guy who could probably surprise me in a road course, Ross Chastain.
Yeah.
which he was actually in that race too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain's also in there. So another driver, Justin Haley, 77.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drivers I can think of. I'm just not thinking of. Ross Chastain, I feel like may have one of the best chances to win, get in out there. So if we want surprise winners, Ross Chastain might be one. Get locked in. Suarez, his owner is really good at road courses. I think he could pass some knowledge to Suarez that might get him up there. Bubba Wallace, out. 100% out. No, out. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
He's 100% out. He's 100% out. And I had to say,
Right.
I had to say the same with Ricky Stenhouse as well. If he makes a surprise win at Daytona, that's like Sean said, that's the only way he's getting in. But I think he's out too.
Right.
Like I said, there's like a
Yeah.
mix of different stuff here. But
Yeah.
but like I mentioned, 2 wildcard races, Indy Roval, Daytona, and just with races between there, I think a road course specialist. I think all of you know who I'm talking about. Might win Watkins Glen. 2 of them, either one of them, maybe 3 if you count Larson. We're surprised I win, but to me, it's just going to come between the 2 wildcard races, because it's one driver is going to get in by points fully. That's Hamlin, 100%. It's going to come between from here to there, and all the guys below cut line better hope that the top 3 DNF a bunch of times for them to be up there.
Well, you can't expect Hamlin to lose that amount of points in 4 races.
Exactly, but you can for what's it called, the regular season champion though.
Well,
You can if it's regular season champion, and Larson's got that. I feel like Larson may be able to get that.
Larson can definitely afford a few DNFs. Like, he's already got enough wins. He can
Hamlin
probably
doing-
survive.
The bad thing is he has 1 DNF. Hamlin has 0, and he's still 13 below Hamlin. 1 DNF from Hamlin, Larson already.
That's a good point.
So Hamlin may be able to get locked in by points, but it's going to be stretched for the rest of them. They better hope they don't DNF. Harvick, he's a veteran. He knows what to do. I think he's going to be okay unless he somehow DNFs. And then it's a stretch on the other races, but I really think 2 of the 4 races are going to be won by drivers who's already won this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So that's my prediction. What about you, Mr. Host?
Come down to me.
Yep, crazy host.
Yeah.
Okay.
Run,
So-
Sean, run!
Anyways, the first things first, we can easily say Hamlin's going to get locked in on points, like 100%. Because at some point he could probably get locked in at the Roval, at the Indy Roval, that is. He could probably do it at Michigan. I mean, if he doesn't do as good at the Indy Road course, but still, we know for sure Denny Hamlin is going to get locked in on points. Kevin Harvick is a little slim, but if he puts together some good runs in these next 4 races, at least top 10 at the very best, he should be okay. Reddick is the stretch here because if Tyler Reddick is going to get himself into a position to where he should be able to luck his way in on points, he needs top 10s. He needs top 5s so bad. Like, he's 5 above his own teammate, Austin Dillon, who, speaking of, from the experience factor, may have a better chance than Tyler Reddick would. Because the thing is with Austin Dillon is that I mean, like, he barely wins races. Austin Dillon does. And if he does, they're luck wins. They're shock value wins. So, maybe Austin Dillon could get a shock value win. Chances of that, however, are just really slim, because that's the key word, shock value. So, I would say that...
Then again, that is the theme of the last 4 races in the playoffs.
Shock value, yeah.
Just ask Eric Marola.
Yeah. He is definitely on that list, but as far as Austin Dillon goes, I say he has a better chance of pointing his way in than Tyler Reddick does. Chris Buescher, I don't know. I don't know, man. He's really slim. I do see him making an effort and probably getting to where Austin Dillon is, 17th on playoff standings, but that's it. I don't see it. Dibby. He finally has gotten some speed. Dibby has speed on his side. He needs top 5s. He needs top 10s. And if he wants a ride in Cup, if there's ever going to be a spot open for him, he's got to win. Like, no questions asked. He needs to win. So, I feel like out of everybody in the red here, Dillon, Buescher, DiBenedetto, Chastain, I feel like he has got the best chances of either pointing his way in if he can actually get some really good runs and not DNF in any race, or win. Either that or win. Chastain is another guy I feel like who has just as good of a chance as DiBenedetto does, because of the fact that we do have the Indy Road Course coming up here in just a few weeks, and he is one of the small handful of drivers who had previously competed there in Xfinity. So Ross could point his way in, but 144, that is a big gap to make up in the next 4 races. You have to be flawless in order to luck your way in on points. Absolutely flawless, good finishes, maybe a win, and it should be good for Ross. Now, who are the next 3 drivers?
Suarez, Wallace, and Stenhouse.
Alright. Suarez, man. I feel like Daniel Suarez, he might be able to get in. But it's just like all the rest that are 144 below the cut line. He needs to be flawless. I feel like what he's been doing all this year, he's been doing an absolutely masterful job at playing the consistency game, at getting in some really good positions, earning some really valuable points, and just overall, I think just being in the picture for the most part. Not for the win, but for a good finish. So, I think he's one of those sleeper picks that could probably maybe luck his way in on points. Stenhouse, to that point, the only way he's getting in is if he wins Daytona. He's a terrific plate racer, and that is the only time where I think we'll see Stenhouse is at his best. At a plate track and winning Daytona. That's it. Bubba's out. No explanation. Bubba's out.
Okay, so we can all just... we can all agree on some stuff.
Yeah. Let's face it, man.
Elijah's like me. It's like me. When I said Bubba Wallace, out. And then it's like... out. He's like, Bubba Wallace is out. No explanation.
Hey, because let's face it, man, 2311 is just overhyped.
He definitely.
Bubba Wallace driving for the team is overhyped. It's just, you thought this was gonna be his breakout year. Yeah, breakout year in DNFs and top 25s and top 30s. Yeah, another breakout year where he drives for an overhyped team.
Barely won top 5.
Just barely. But that's all he's really done. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, he's as far as running, he'll do good. The numbers do not back it up whatsoever.
Yeah, they really don't.
So therefore, without any further explanation, Bubba Wallace is out.
Yeah.
If you had,
Like,
if you think there were any surprise winners, who would you think and at what tracks?
surprise winner?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough.
Let's see.
I'm saying like a driver below the cut line. I'm not talking about like Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, or you know what? I'll add. I'll add Tyler Reddick to that list. I will actually add Reddick to that list because he's not that far.
I would totally be surprised if either Hamlin or Harvick won. The only thing I'd be surprised about is if they won this late in the season. That's it. But other than them winning in general, no.
From Reddick down, if you had to pick a surprise winner, which one would it be?
Gosh, man. I'm going to say... Ooh, here's another thing. I'll get to it here in a second. You see, of all the drivers who I think could be a surprise winner... Hear me out on this one. It's kind of a stretch. I'm going to say Matt DiBenedetto at the Indy Road Course.
That's not bad, because that, like I mentioned before, that's as much of a wild card as Daytona.
But
because hear me out on this explanation here.
yeah,
Before the Xfinity Series, before NASCAR had taken to the road course for points-paying races, Matt DiBenedetto tested in an Xfinity car on the road
That's
course,
right.
therefore making him the only Cup driver to get on the road course.
But
so
that
far.
was with an Xfinity car.
That's true, but that doesn't mean that he's that doesn't mean that he's not that. You know what I mean? But he's the only Cup driver to get on that road course.
I'll back up the track, but I'm not backing up the driver.
Oh, you always back the driver, man. What happened?
I'm not backing up this driver. I'll back up the track though. Surprise winner on the track. I do say it's Indy Roval, but he has been consistent at road courses. I seen him surprise me. He actually did good at Loudon, what surprised me. If anyone's going to surprise win, I think it's going to be Ross Chastain. And don't forget, Kurt Busch owes him. Because Ross Chastain helped him at Atlanta. I think Kurt Busch still owes him. Try to end the year for Chip Ganassi off really good for having both cars in the silly season playoffs.
Yeah, Kurt Busch must pay up. Pay it up.
What about you, Sean?
It's between Indy and Daytona. There are two good tracks there. I think someone who I would think to be a surprise winner is Hamrick.
Yeah.
Hamrick, yeah. If he can win at the road course, hey, that's good for him. I would think that would really help his career a lot. If that Daytona, that would still be okay. But it ain't the best.
Yeah.
You mentioned Daytona. I got one more for y'all. And he's not even listed in our 7 and our 8 below the cut line. I go back to Daytona. And I go back to the 500. And I go back to 2020.
Oh,
Ryan Newman could end up spoiling on his last year Roush. That is probably going to be the ultimate upset. That's probably even going to be more of an upset than Erica Marola and Loudon.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That is so true. Man. But alrighty, man. Oh my gosh. So, we're not going to have a pit stop show. Let's see, because NASCAR goes back to racing on August 8th at Glen. Let me take a look at the schedule here real fast. Because the race we go back to racing on August 8th.
That's the Cup.
Yep.
The Truck Series and Xfinity Series, I believe, will race together on Saturday.
Let's see. August 7th. Yeah, August 7th on a Saturday. So we'll be back on August 6th for episode 28 of the Pit Stop Show. So, yeah, it's we get a somewhat of a 2-week break from doing the show.
That's pretty good.
Well,
I'd say so.
Well, maybe a week, because like the week before the weekend, we still need to make predictions for Watkins Glen.
True.
Well, we usually do them. We usually make those types of predictions before the weekend starts.
Yeah.
And the video are usually up before the weekend really starts, so.
But yeah, that's going to do it for episode 27 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. I want to thank you guys a lot for watching. Actually watching. And if you haven't liked this video, be sure to give it a like. If you haven't considered subscribing, I recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And that about does it for me. On behalf of White Walker, and the returning Sean Ard, I'm Elijah Leonard signing out, and we'll see you in the next one.
See y'all. Check out my channel. I'll be streaming.